Game day, game night.
Everybody hands in. Let's go.
Hump day. Let's get it today.
On three.
On three. Everybody hands in.
On three. Heat. No.
Man, stop.
I'm sorry. What? I'm just kicking off the morning.
You want to start trending at 6 a.m. East Coast time. Go right ahead.
It's 3 a.m. y'all time, man. Y'all ain't awake yet.
Key, it really just comes down to this when you think about it. Macro, micro. The micro, you're thinking about your Lakers. From a macro perspective, there's a ton of people that didn't think the NBA would even get to this point where we'd be playing game one of the NBA Finals in a bubble to crown its 74th champion in 74 years. Never underestimate that. They've never missed crowning a champion. Old dudes that run leagues love history, and the Lakers and Heat are going to make sure we have an NBA champion. Remember when Barkley said when we're getting ready to go into the bubble, 0% chance this thing's going to go off. 0% chance.
Well, that's really because no one understood what the bubble was, right? What it would present. It was just kind of like, okay, they're going to lock them down. They're going to be in hotel rooms, and that's it. But if you really look at it from the beginning to the end, or we're not at the end yet, but we're pretty much there.
Right.
That the way they constructed it, the way that they went about doing everything, except for one or two people, it never really got to the point of escalating where they was in trouble. You had a couple guys had to leave to go home for whatever reasons, whether it was chicken wings or funerals or whatever the case may be.
Crispy.
Extra crispy. And once they came back in, they got tested again, then had to quarantine to kind of just make sure everything was okay. Then they went back to playing, but it wasn't like every day there was two people leaving the bubble. So once that happened, it was nothing to talk about. You knew because there wasn't people coming and going. You had a handful of people over this last several months leave the bubble and come back in, but at the same time they quarantine. Then the families have come in over the last couple of weeks. They quarantined before they could actually communicate with anybody, and they haven't left other than like the Clippers families and stuff like that. They had to leave because in Denver's and, you know.
Only two groups of families left. Only two groups of families.
Exactly. And so when you look at that point you knew they were going to get through it.
Great accomplishment, Jay, to get here, though.
You can call me Joe. Joe's fine, too. Joe Jay. I just want to give a round of applause. Sometimes you need to stop climbing in order to see how far you've climbed. Let's give some context really quickly because we're going to talk a lot about LeBron James over the next week and a half, but I want to talk about Anthony Davis. Think about how the narrative has changed within the span of a year, Keyshawn. So do you remember the time like AD really not getting that far in the playoffs, not being that successful with the New Orleans Pelicans, right? Some of the issues he had getting out of New Orleans, signing with Clutch Sports, signing with Rich Paul, all right, wearing the shirt to the stadium. That's all, folks, right? Finding a way to get out of that situation.
The Looney Tunes.
And this is where players find control, right? How narratives can change. Forcing his way out of that situation, which I applaud him for. He didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to win a championship, finding a way to get to L.A. And now having a chance to win a world championship. Think about how that narrative has changed so quickly from AD. He can't take a team, and now he's about to become, if he gets past the Miami Heat, a world champion and playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's all set up for once LeBron, if he rides away on the white horse into the sunset after a couple of years, that could be AD's team, a team filled with legendary history. How quickly that has changed for players that want to take control of their own destiny, getting themselves to a situation that they feel is best for them to win a world championship.
It's Joe brought it up.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes. He brought it up, but you know, being in L.A. and being on the ground in L.A. when the whole AD situation was kind of taking shape, and he fired his other agency and hired Clutch, immediately we knew he was coming to L.A.
Exactly.
He had already owned a home in L.A. He sold one home and bought another. So when you start and when you start to see that sort of movement, you already know it's like, oh, okay, we get it now. He's coming to L.A. This is what's happening. Did the Magic Johnson situation kind of went south? They didn't get a chance to get the deal done. So everybody was like, it's not going to happen. It's like, no, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen after the season opposed to when they tried to get it done. Mm-hmm. You know, for him to be a part of a potential championship and then LeBron to leave 3-4 years from now and kind of position AD to be the guy, there's going to be somebody else that comes in, whether it's through the draft or through free agency again. The Lakers have always had two or more individual stars to help win championships. And so have other teams around the league. But there's always been an A1 and an A2 and then a B1
But key
to lead to championships. You can't do it by yourself. AD had some pieces with him in New Orleans, Jay, but he didn't have that. Drew Holiday was there, and that's pretty much it. He didn't really have that guy that could match his ability. He had somebody lesser than him.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.